Well, hello, everyone. I am so excited to be with you all today. I have missed you. Yes, I have. I took a little mini break to do some, I guess you can say, some work on me, some work on the business, and also some work on my home. So I am so excited to be back with you all because I have an awesome guest that I cannot wait to dig into her background and also all the goodness that she has to share with us. So as I always do, I would love for you all to take a moment to share the broadcast. Share it with your followers, your friends, your loved ones, and anyone that you think could benefit from hearing yet another episode of iRock.tv, where our mission is to help you turn you from job applicant to job candidate so you can land the job of your dreams and create a career that rocks. Now, that could be in corporate America or something else outside of corporate America with your own thing. That's what we're going to be talking about on today. So share the broadcast. And for those of you all who do not know me, I am Nickquolette Barrett, Chief Career Development Strategist at iRock Development Solutions, LLC, doing business as iRock Resumes. I am a 4-time certified career development strategist, specializing in resume writing, interview prep, career development and strategy, as well as LinkedIn profile branding and job search coaching. So please make sure that you share this broadcast and tell them the Get Hired strategist sent you. All righty. So I am going to do as I always do. Make sure that you check out the website as well. And I do have a new offering there. If you want a free review of your resume, free review of your cover letter, free review of your LinkedIn profile. And guess what? I now offer free review of your ability to interview. So go to the website, wait for the pop-up box to come up, and I will give you some feedback on how you can make those better. And yes, you can record a video about your interview and answering one of the questions I have there. And guess what? I will even give you feedback. So that's a first, right? Most people do resume feedback, reviews, or what have you. But I also do LinkedIn review as well as interview prep. So please make sure that you go to the website, iRockResumes.com, and sign up so we can have a chat. All right. Okay. I am going to cut over to my commercial really quickly, and then I will bring on my lovely guest. Again, please share the broadcast with your audience, and I'll be right back. My wonderful guest on here, Miss Katrina, a Roddy. Hey, Katrina.
Hello there. You have such a great intro.
Oh, great. I'm so glad. And I want to, before we get started, introduce you to everybody. I want to say hi from Dubai. I want to visit Dubai. I heard the shopping is good there. Thank you so much for joining us from Dubai. And then I have my wonderful dear friend. She is one of what I call my old school ride and die viewers, Nairobi. Hey, Nairobi. Thank you so much for joining. Please make sure you all share the broadcast. But I got to tell you all about this wonderful lady that I met virtually. She was absolutely phenomenal. I do have like an intro and everything, but I fell in love with her. I said, I think I got me a new BFF in my head. I was all over everything you were saying, Katrina. I said, where has she been all my life?
In corporate.
So, okay, right, in corporate. Girl, we got to talk about that and a breakup. So when you were on that show with Deidre, my dear friend, I just love me some Deidre. I don't know who else don't love her, but we all love Deidre. I was so glad because I don't get a chance to actually, get on live a lot. But for some reason, I got on that day. And then I was able to see you. I said, oh, no, she has to be on iRock.tv. Yes,
Nice.
to share all your goodness. Okay, audience. Okay,
Well,
so that's
thank you.
my digression. So I'm going to introduce this powerful woman to you all. Okay, she is a Chicago, Illinois native. Now, what side you grow up on, Katrina?
So I'm in Hyde Park, Bronzeville area.
Oh, girl, do you know I grew up on 29th and State?
Well, let me tell you where I grew up.
Okay,
I grew up in Joliet.
you grew up in
And
Joliet. Get out.
and because of corporate, moved here at a very young age, and my parents retired and moved away
Yes.
to another state. So I've been
Okay.
here for a long time.
Oh, get out of here. But I am a Chicago native as well, born and raised, transplant to Texas. First started in Houston, the Beaumont area, and now I am in North Dallas, Texas. But yes, honey, I went to Wendell Phillips High School, all that kind of good stuff.
Right?
Persian.
That's
Girl,
up the street from my house.
girl. Now you know one thing I do miss is Harold's. Oh, don't let me start talking about Harold's chicken. Oh, I miss it. Okay, yeah. So anyway, I digress for the second time. So Miss Katrina is a Chicago, Illinois native. She has worked for 30 years in corporate insurance before being laid off. It was at that moment when she chose to take her acquired skills in corporate and created her own career as an author and entrepreneur coach. This best-selling author of Steal Your Skills from Corporate, oh, this just makes my heart happy, will coach you through the mindset it takes to transition from employee status to become the CEO of your life as a new entrepreneur. Now, Katrina, I tell you, that's what I have been preaching for years to my direct reports, to my clients and everything, because, and I'm going to, just say my little spiel, that's what I know I needed to do for myself. So before we dig into that, I need you to do, because it's all about getting the behind the scenes of the career. So I want you to tell me a little bit more about your trajectory of your career. Where did you start off and how did you go through it? And then we'll dig into the other questions.
Okay, well, that is absolutely where I would start. So I started off that wonderful career in corporate at the age of 18. Wow. I came right out of high school. I graduated in June, and the career started in July. And it's all because of the college that I'd gone to had come into the school, and they were talking about, different college tours. My light just went out. But anyway, there were different tours that were coming in. And I knew my family couldn't afford to send me to school. I was I am number 5 out of 6 children. Yes. And I really wanted to go to college. That's what my peer group was doing. That's what everybody, but because of my parents' background and their humble beginnings, they're like, you kind of need to, find that mate. You guys find a job, move on. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I want to go to school. Right. So I heard them when they said, we can bring you into, there's certain colleges that will help you afford your college. I mean, there are certain colleges that will, corporations that will help you afford it. So I'm like, let me see how that works. So I started at college, and in order to stay in this program, I had to have a job, because the job would have become one of my classes that would keep me going through the courses. So I did. I went into a legal program, and there were 30 kids in this particular group. 29 of them got a job at a law firm because it was legal. Wow. There was one person who did not get a job at a law firm because I just don't fit.
Oh, wow.
I was the only one that worked in an insurance company. I worked for their legal staff. And from their legal staff, they just started showing me all around insurance. This is what you do. This is what you do. So that point, I started to really understand there's a lot here. And so they bring me to these different companies. So in my 20s, think about this. Everybody out there in their corporate now who are in their 20s, they love it. All their friends are doing it. You hang out. They tell you that if you come in early and stay late, you're going to go far in this company. Yeah, you don't learn that. You don't learn that. So I did it. But you did it because all your friends were doing it too. So it's not a big deal. Then you move into your 30s, right? And then your 30s, you're starting to have families, you're starting to travel more with your job, you're doing, and that's when work-life balance really means something. Yeah. You're like, how do I do this? I traveled at that point 80% of the time.
Ooh, that's a lot. So you were always on the plane. How many miles you got, girl?
I had a little baby. I was traveling. I was like, what is this? And so
Yes.
then finally, you're entering into your 40s. You don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to live out of a suitcase. I don't want to, constantly go back and forth. I really, work-life balance means a lot. But now at this point in my career, I'm starting to see people get laid off. It's becoming the norm to be laid off. I worked in such a high-profile area of insurance that I'm going to be honest with you, we didn't think we'd ever be touched because of all of because we brought in the most money. We worked with the large corporations. We provided insurance for people like Discover Card and we gave State Farm insurance. We gave Allstate insurance, Saks Fifth Avenue, Post Serial, Costco. These were people we provided insurance for. So we brought in
huge.
And that's where I really honed in on my skills as a relationship manager, because those are people, and for those of you who are in sales and about prospecting, is how do you hunt for your client? I didn't have to hunt for 3 to 4 years. That's the thing that it took them. So in the between that time, I would have to build relationships. They have to know who I am before they're going to spend this money on us. So that was my career, and then it got to a point, because everything starts to change. You can see the changes happening. I've been I like to tell people, you probably were laid off, or at one point you were the layer offer.
Right, exactly right.
I remember laying people off. We had to go through I remember doing that, and all of a sudden it hit us.
Wow.
And what I knew for sure at that point, Nickquolette, is that I did not want to go back to corporate. And so that's what I stuck to. That's what I focused on. How do I not go back? And from that point, I started, as an independent contractor. I started, just trying to figure out where my skills held at.
I like that.
I learned I had skills that a lot of these other entrepreneurs are seeking, because they would come to me and say, can you help me with budgeting? Can you help me with, just different things that I used to do in corporate? I'm like, oh yeah, that's no big deal, because I'm so used to doing it. Right?
It's like second nature to you.
No, I didn't realize I had superpowers. I was just like,
I love it. I was so excited when I heard you say that.
I'll show you how to do that. I'll show you how to do that. And then at one networking event, one lady pulled me to the side and said, honey, you give out too much free information. This is your job. And that stopped me.
Thank goodness for her.
Yes, because at that point, I knew what I had taught people. Without even thinking about it. But I wanted to put all of that in one location. I'm like, well, I'm just going to put it together so that they can get it. And that was the book. And that was
nice. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's just like music to my ears, because when we have so many skill sets, I want you all out there listening, you take all the skills you can, and you may not know immediately what you're going to be able to do with those, but trust me, as Katrina said, you do have superpowers. Now, Katrina, that thing happened with me as well, when 2 of my employees told me I had the superpower of being able to write job landing resumes, interview landing resumes, and help them interview so they can land jobs. I just did it because as a corporate leader, you just get your people prepared for opportunities. It was just a knack. And people will always come to me and ask me, can you help me write this? Can you help me write this? Can you proofread? And it was just something I just did. And when they told me that people would pay me, I said, pay me for this? I said, what are you talking about? And I never, ever thought about it. And then I just put a little blurb out on social media, and I'm telling you, history was changed for me, my whole course. And I'll tell you about, when we talk about corporate, my corporate breakup was a little bit different than actually leaving, but I just cannot wait. Okay, so I'm just getting too excited. Okay, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
So what's one thing you wish you had known before you even began your career?
Before I began my career, I wish I had known or paid more attention to, and this is real talk, taxes. I'm like, I don't know how that works. They've been taking it out for years. I'm assuming they're still taking it out. Now, you have an inkling of that, what's going on, but then you just, you learn quickly because, there are people, and this is what I tell people, when I get to the business segment of my coaching with them, I tell them, you have to have some type of structure. And you have to hire people who are experts at other things. When you work in a corporation, these people are there. You don't know what your neighbor's doing. You don't know what this person's doing. They don't know what you're doing. You have separate jobs, but you all work under one umbrella. When you become an entrepreneur, you have to create that same umbrella, and you have to get an accountant. You have to get a business person. You have to get a coach. You have to get all of these people, and that's what I wish I had known earlier. But then it started to click, and I was like, I don't know how to do that. Let me go get this person to do it. Let me get this person to do it. So I think of it as structure. So, for your audience, I just want them to close your eyes and imagine the biggest house they can find, or the most beautiful house that they have, right? And a lot of people will come back to me and they'll tell me about the yard. They'll tell me about the land. They'll tell me about the fixtures, the carpeting, the floors, the ceiling. They tell me everything, and it sounds amazing. But Nickquolette, not one person ever comes back and tells me about the foundation. And that's what's holding the whole house up. And I'm like, that is the most beautiful part of it, is the foundation.
Yes, the foundation.
And that's what I wish I had learned about the foundation first, and then build. But you learn.
We don't know. We're corporate people. We don't know that, because I had to do the same thing. I had to do a lot of backtracking. So as I introduced the show today, I'd been doing a lot of that work on the business, because for me as a career practitioner, usually people are on summer vacation. So the business kind of takes a dip and allows me to do some administrative things. And I'm doing all that backtracking, building a lot of foundation, because I didn't know. I was just a person with the superpower say, I'm going to do it. And that's it. And then I did all these other things.
Story, and even if my friend is listening, so I was approached by a VA.
Yes,
and I was like, oh, okay, she works in the military, and whatever. And she's like, no, dumb, a VA is a virtual assistant. I said, look, I don't know.
Okay. So all those stories, that is excellent story. Now let's dig in.
Corporate. I don't know. Like there's so much, and that's why I have a passion to help individuals, because when you come out, you think about this. You've been told what to do, what time to come to work, what time to leave, what kind of friends to have, who's your clients. And then when you get on your own, you're like, wait 1 second. I get to do this on my own, and you have to. Now you get freedom. You get freedom to do these things on your own, but you do have to allow the help that is needed. A lot of people, especially, I work with high profile or high performing clients that come to me, and they're so used to being high performers. They can do everything, but not realizing that their staff, they can do everything. I'm going to do that on my own, Katrina. Yes, I'm going to do a great job. And then 6 months down the line, you're going to realize, man, somebody should have took me through this step by step.
Yep.
Because that's
how we're wired. Right. That's how we're wired, because we have all of these skills. And one of the things that I realized, that although I can do it, I probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. And that's what people need to.
I can cut my own grass. I shouldn't.
No. No. All of these different things that we do, think that we can do, we should not, because then we're not really working on the business. We're working in the business. Exactly. And until you understand, now, yes, you need to have a level of understanding of how things work, but don't stay there, because then you become stuck. And then you have to find someone to kind of come in and clean up your mess, i.e. my financial books. I hired my bookkeeper and accountant. I said, girl, there you go. Clean it up. I don't know. They're a mess. And she said, oh my gosh, don't worry about it. I got you. And I had to get her to do it, because that's not my skill set. No, I'm trying to write a resume.
Right. They're happy with that too.
Yep. Yeah. That's their skill set.
Yes.
So come on. Yeah. Girl, let's talk about this book and what you do, this corporate breakup. Let's talk about these moves. Let's go. I'm just going to open up the floor, because I think there are going to be a lot of questions, not only from myself, but from other people asking about this corporate breakup. What is the premise, and what do you mean by that?
So the Corporate Breakup is my company. It's a coaching company. And I came up with the idea of, I'm just, listening to the news, watching different segments on TV, and a lady comes on there about her book. It's called, I guess it's called The Breakup. And she's describing the anxiety that people go through. And she's talking about this retreat that she's going to have. And she's going to help people in these relationship breakups really hone into themselves. And she's talking about the anger, the anxiety, the sleep disturbances, the, chest pains, all of these things that come with a breakup. And I was like, I felt that same way when I broke up from corporate. It's the same type of breakup, but no one approaches you for healing on it. You get support. You may have your friends come by. You may have, like this lady coach you. You may have all of these things that support your relationship breakup. And they'll come over and they'll bring wine. They'll bring ice cream. They tell you to work on yourself. Let's get some hugs in there.
Yeah.
When you break up from corporate, they're like, that girl need to find another job.
That's all they say. Yeah. What is she going to do now?
What is she going to do now? And so I just feel that, I'm in a position to help people get through that. You're going to go through a lot of that. You're going to go through the anger, the anxiety. So what I say is go through it. Feel that. You have to be able to feel what that feels like so that you can move past it. And once you feel it and you get out of that space, because you can't stay there. It hurts too much. You can't stay there. What are you going to do next? And that's when I propose you make moves. And moves is an acronym for you need a mindset reset.
Yeah.
And all that is, I don't know your form of it, but it could be meditation. It was meditation for me. It was yoga. It was breathing exercises. It was regular exercises. You may need to go punch a punching bag. You may need to get on your whatever it is. Get that aggression out, because that's instant gratification. You feel good immediately when you do that. So keep doing it, because now your ideas are going to open up to do more things. And the O part is own a new title. How about the CEO of your life? I have people who are stuck. I was SVP, I was COO, I was CFO, I was whatever acronym you were. You're not that anymore. And I can understand why it's hard to come off of that, because your job has told you what you are. And now you have to tell yourself what you are. It's not what other people say about you that shakes you. It's what you say about yourself.
About yourself.
Be very careful what you say to yourself. So be open to a new title. And then the V part is value your relationships. Over the years, you've built a number of relationships. You have people in your life that have helped you without even giving them a title. So when I say value your relationship, Nickquolette, I really mean hone into those people. Create a personal board of directors, personal board of advisors that can help you. There are 5 people on that board. There's a space for each of them, and you build upon that. And that's what keeps you going, because now these are your mentors. And let them know.
Exactly.
Let them know what position they play. The E is evaluate your money. Every person, your audience member, every person has their own relationship with money. Understand what that is. I spoke in the beginning about how I came from humble beginnings. My parents came from humble beginnings. Their parents came from humble beginnings. You see what I mean? It's just one of those things that keep going. You have to recognize how you deal with money so that you can apply that to your new career as an entrepreneur. If you're a saver, if you're a spender, what made you that person? What made who you are about money? Why are you like that? And figure that out, because that's going to help you a lot. And the S is the most important part of the whole moves, and that's share your story. You have to be vulnerable. You have to tell people. I have to tell people I cried the whole year after I got out. And I had another job. I just cried every day because I felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like, well, who do they think they are telling me what to do? I don't know who they're talking to. Right. Because you're coming out of corporate and you're like, did you know what I did there? They're like, keep it moving.
Yeah, so you bring all your I used to be to the new role. They're like, we don't care.
Yeah, they're like, good for you, girl. Keep it moving.
Okay, right. I love it.
Just feel like no one's listening to me.
Yes.
And you get into that whole thing of, what do I do? How do I fit in? And it's not until I literally remember when it kicked in for me. I'm like, these people don't care. I need to figure out, how to create myself and how to reinvent myself so that now I can be in the spotlight. I learned in corporate that a lot of times we're not vulnerable, especially women in corporate, especially Black women in corporate. We're not vulnerable. We don't want to be judged on our lives because that may prevent us from maybe a promotion or maybe getting another job, or maybe you keep to yourself a lot. You don't really want to talk about your life. You just want to talk about work. That's it.
Right.
And then when you become an entrepreneur, that's all you talk about is your life and how you got there, because somebody is listening. Somebody wants to know, do we share the same story? I came on this call because you and I share the same story.
Yes.
And it's because I had a story to tell. And that is M.O.V.E.S. So once I get people through that, it's easier to make decisions. It's easier to go back to say, I need to change my diet. I need to change my sleeping, whatever it is. But once you have those things in place, it becomes much easier to be an entrepreneur.
Oh, I just love everything that you just said, because a lot of times when we're going through that, they identify so much with their actual company. They identify so much with their role. And when that's taken away, they feel empty. They don't know who they are anymore. And then they try to keep holding on to this used to be that they can't move forward. So when I get clients in, I'm very tactical. So I am not the career coach that's going to do a lot of that kind of pre-work. When I get you, we gonna talk really tactical. What I need to how do I get you to your next role and these things. But I have found that sometimes they don't know because they haven't went through the moves, as you just so eloquently laid out, and that's for another career. And then when I talk to them about, have you thought about starting your own thing? Because sometimes these especially the high level executives I work with, they can become consultants. And it's like, you have all of this skill set. You can actually do this. But what I want to do, what I love that we're connected, I can push them to you, especially when I see that potential and they're interested. One of my clients said, she said, Nickquolette, I'm going to be honest, I'm a corporate girl. I am always going to be a corporate girl. I'm not going to do it. So I understand I do have skills that I'm not going to do. I said, okay, well, you're sure about it. We'll just focus on that. However, those who have that skill set, who haven't really thought about it, and I see this mostly with my mid-career and more seasoned career professionals, where unfortunately ageism is real. And they're not getting picked up by organizations, no matter how skillful they are. So I'm like, well, why don't you change your mindset to think about being your own boss, being an entrepreneur? Because if they go through that, they will uncover and feel good about themselves, and they have more freedom and earn an income. It just makes sense.
And that's where the
and so when I was thinking, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's the space that I look at, because a lot of them, and they're tired. They're like, I don't want to go through anybody else's program anymore. They're tired and they want to do something for themselves that's more fulfilling. And that's when I uncovered the skills, because they have them now. So you just described my ideal client.
Oh, that is perfect. And that's why I love this connection, this network, because I'm like, I think you need to go over to Katrina, because I think she can help you better than I can. And when you need some writing of your brand stuff, then come back to me. Because that's what I do. My superpower is that writing. I'll make sure, although I'm crazy on these shows and stuff, but I am really a writer. I love writing, and I love doing the interview prep and all that kind of stuff to get them prepared to represent themselves, not only on paper, but also verbally as well. And so having them to go through that process is going to be absolutely marvelous. Now, I really want to ask something. What I was thinking about, what are some of your biggest failures, and what did you do to overcome those?
So in my career, or like as my new career, is that what you're asking?
Your new career. Yeah. So those who are interested, what would they do as far as them trying to transition themselves for that, learning from your failures?
So I came out the bat. I came right out making money. And what I realized, and I had to go back to my corporate thinking, but I came right out making money, and then it dried up. Because I did not have a process in place for these individuals. I didn't have my back room in place. I didn't have, anything to help me with prospecting, because I wasn't there yet in my career. So that was a huge failure for me because I would have liked to keep going instead of having one client here, next month get one more. There needs to be a flow of people, but because I made money super quickly, I just thought that's how it was going to be. And maybe I didn't need to. And then you put those things together and you're like, oh, this is how it works.
I know, girl. I know.
It just goes back to my corporate where I had to develop a pipeline for my clients. I had I had to think in those terms again. So right back to using your skills. I had to develop a pipeline. How do I keep it going? But that was my failure because I'm like, well, what am I going to do next? Day by day.
Oh gosh! Yes, let me see, Deidre. Let's see, Deidre say, "Yes, I have the knowledge and skills, but don't want to deal with." She said, "You don't want to deal with the BS." I know, Deidre. It was something else when you come to that reality. Because one of the things I talked to my friend about. I said, you know what? I just don't have it in me to apply for another job. People are like, well, you could go here, you could do this at another organization. I said, I just can't do it. I said, when I put in my retirement notice, I am not doing it anymore. I've done my due for over 30 years. I'm done. I understand that.
I understand that. You know what? Here's my story. I came out. You don't know if I want to be an entrepreneur or not. So naturally, people in my circle are trying to help me, right? So there's a guy who said, oh, you'd be perfect for this job. You should apply. So I'm like, okay, I'll apply for it. I applied for the job. They left me on hold. They strung me along for 7 months.
Oh my gosh.
I had to interview with this person. I had to interview with this person. And because of the person I am, every single Tuesday, I'd write an email. I'm just following up. And so I was very persistent because I'm good at that. I was very persistent. And so I'd say, hey, I'm following up. I'm following up. Oh, yeah, we need to talk to this person. We need to talk to. They strung me along for 7 months and made a decision to hire within after all of that. And I said, are you kidding me? I'm done.
My goodness.
I'm like your
waste
friend
of time.
I'm done.
Yeah, Deidre's like, I am not doing this anymore. And that just happened with one of my clients. She was being strung along as well from, she started the process, I think, in January. And I'm like, well, what's going on? She said, I sent an email and everything. So she was about to do her 5th interview. And this was going from I think she started in December, and we understood the holidays. So we said, let's just be patient. Let's see what happens. Then all of a sudden, the holidays came. They get another trickle email. And then all of a sudden, she got going through these interviews, and another company came in, swooped her up in less than 30 days. And when they called her for the 5th interview, she said, no, boo, I'm done with you. This other person came in and made me not even the offer that I wanted, but I got more. I don't know why they do that.
Someone came in as so the company that I became an independent contractor with came in and said, your skills are transferable. That's all I want to hear.
Yeah, that's it. Right.
It made me explore I said, that was a kickoff to me saying, I have stuff. I have things that I can use.
Yes.
That was the mind-blowing thing that was like, oh no. So when they finally got back to me, I said, hey, would you like to be my client now?
Oh, I love that. That's right. Hey, Stacy. Stacy out here. She's a fellow resume writer and coach. What's going on, Miss Stacy? Yes, but I love that. And that's why let's talk about stealing those skills from corporate.
Okay.
Go ahead, lay into it. What do you mean by that? And how should they do that?
So it's easy to do because you already have them. So it's the skills that you have acquired. Maybe you've been in corporate and they've sent you to training classes. I remember when I told you I started young. I remember doing the etiquette classes because I was always in I was in Future Leaders. I was in, they were trying to build us up. And so they'd send you business etiquette classes. They'd send you. And I remember all of those things because they applied. And then I started doing financial planning. So I understood that. I work with businesses. So I know structure. That's why I help people with structure. So there are some key things, no matter what career you go into. What people don't realize, Nickquolette, is that when they become an entrepreneur, they better hang it up when they always talk about, I'm not a salesperson. you're 100%
Yes,
sales.
you are. Yes, you are.
100%.
Yes, you are.
And so I'm able to coach people through sales techniques, all of that stuff, because these are things that I learned. You know, when you talk about steal your skills, you don't necessarily have to come from corporate. You have
Yes.
skills that you have developed. People, working moms have skills who are
Oh
home.
my gosh.
People, have you
Yes.
watched those videos, or like on YouTube or even Netflix, where these young ladies, and I can't think of the name of the show, but they will organize your whole house and everything is color coded. I'm like, I can't do that.
No, exactly.
Like,
They have that
they
skill
have
set.
skill. They have
And
that
oh,
skill
by the way,
set.
I'm gonna need to know who they are. Okay, yes.
But that's what I mean. Your skills can come from anywhere.
Yes,
And
anywhere.
you know, I was a swim mom, so I know if you have a kid that's in sport, you may have been responsible for the concession, you may be responsible for travel, whatever it is. You have that skill set that you can now use and apply to your own career. If you planned events for them, become an event planner as your own career. These are things that, like you said, you were writing resumes, didn't know that people could get paid off of that. Yes. That's what I'm talking about when I say steal your skills. So what I did was I took my approach that I use personally, that I had a coach for, and I outlined everything that I did to create my career. So that's going through skills, that's goal setting, that's the business planning, that is mentorship, that's networking, marketing, personality. Know what kind of person, what kind of entrepreneur you'll be. And then I wrap it all up with time management. So my book is really a guide. It'll take you through everything, because I truly believe you can do this on your own, but most people don't want to. So if they hire me as a coach, I take them through those things along with some of the things that I've gone through on my own, like that's outside of just those skills. So that's what that book is about.
And I love that, because I have to push the coaching. Oh gosh, when I think about the money I have wasted trying to do it on my own.
Yes.
I could have paid for you like 3 times over, probably.
Yeah.
I told a friend of mine, she is trying to start her life coach business. And I said, before you spend one dime, because she just put out a blanket recommendation request. Can I need somebody to help me with XYZ? I said, you don't do that. No. I said, don't you spend now one dime until you talk to me. And then my thing is to tell her, don't just do that, because you don't know who you're going to get. And you don't know how to trust them. So you want to make sure that you're doing the right way. And what I would like for her to do is really meet you, so she can actually understand what she needs to do. But I'm like, no, I can't see a friend do this, because I've went down that road and I've spent money. And this is going to hurt my heart to say this. I am literally spending more money on a revamp of my website, because it's pretty, but it doesn't work.
Oh, I gotcha.
So I had to get a web developer and not a web designer. I needed to get somebody who can do both. I didn't know that. I was unaware, and I just dropped some huge money to get a designer. But when I say the website doesn't work, it doesn't work. But
it's
the person there's nothing wrong with the person who did it. I mean, nothing against that person, but that's who I hired. But I wasn't aware I needed something else.
Because we came from corporate, you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know. We just look like how I look on corporate, right? It's like, oh, it looks good. And that's it. And I thought it was supposed to just look pretty. No, it needs to function. So when a web developer explained that to me, that's when I said, yep, I have to revamp. And guess what? I'm about to spend more money on doing that. And so that's why I need to push this, you all, for this coaching, because it's really crucial. If you want to reduce your time of getting anywhere, you need to hire and make the investment, because people, they get sticker shock. Oh wow, that's a lot of money. You think about the return on investment and the money that you're going to waste. Because when I think about it, because I looked at my expenses for over the years of piecemealing stuff together, and I was so upset, but I didn't know. Katrina existed. Lord Jesus.
I got a coach to write my book. So I mean, it was the absolute best. But what I did not know is that she was also being a business coach to me as well. So that's where I started learning. So I lucked out just because I was like,
Yes.
this is what I want. So what she does, she says, you want to write a book? I know how to do that. I will teach you how to do that. But then also, you need to be able to take that book, because once you put stuff in writing, people are going to attack you. People are going to come forward to you. How do you deal with that coming in? And that's when I ended up coaching with, I don't know if, I do know a lot of your fans, maybe yourself, familiar with Marianne Williamson, who is a spiritual leader. At one point, spiritual leader to Oprah, but I coached with her for 9 months. And she just taught me how to be in a space to accept, how to manifest, how to bring those things in, because here's what's going to happen. You're going to have trolls. You're going to have, like, the world is different now. And you put your writing out there, you need to be able to accept what comes with that and know what that writing is for. Know what your passion is for. She's the one who taught me. I just don't have a business book. I am helping individuals with that fear of transition. I'm helping them move into a different space that they're not familiar with. And that's what I appreciate. So I kind of lucked up. And then after that, and that's how I immediately, so to your point, immediately I started getting clients. People could understand that, but I didn't have a pipeline. So then I hired a VA who is not, that doesn't mean
a virtual assistant.
It's a virtual assistant, because she recognized that I had all of this stuff. And she's like, I'm certified in all of these systems. And I said, well, let me tell you who I am. I can't shop in Marshalls or TJ Maxx because it's too much stuff. So if you can automate that, I would be gracious.
Baby, yes, indeed. Give it to somebody who is better at it than you. And you know what? It is so funny because when I have LinkedIn user to give permission so we can show your name. So what I have been learning to do, Katrina, is instead of me ask all these things I want to do, right? I stopped asking myself, well, when am I going to find time to do it? Baby, I now ask who can do it.
Yep, I do too.
Because there's somebody who's better at it than I. I need to stay in my zone of genius.
Yes.
And hire to those areas where I can do it, being that corporate person, grew up in corporate, all that kind of stuff for years. But I don't need to be doing that. My customers, my clients need me. They need me to service them. They need me to be there, not over here trying to figure out how to put together a workflow. Not over here trying to figure out how to tinker and update the website with another picture. Like, are you kidding me? No.
I get it. 100%. So when I was meeting with her to develop all of these tools I have, every day I would say the same thing. I can't shop at TJ Maxx or Marshalls. It's too much stuff.
Too much.
So she said, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I see where your glory is. So now I'm going to put things in place so that only thing you need to do is look at your calendar and whoever's on there. Now you can talk to them, Katrina. And the beauty about her is that she doesn't like to talk. She'll be behind systems all day. And I'm like, you got to talk to people. And she's like, no, I don't.
That's your sweet spot.
So she'll take me to networking events. I'm a mouthpiece for her, but we work well as a team. We're a team.
Yep.
You know, the thing that I tell people is like, I think they'll look at a virtual assistant and think that's their secretary. And I'm like, that person is not. She's my team. She does these things and she loves it. So,
and when you are able to finally let go the reins of holding your bank account so tight and actually see that these are investments in people that will feed into your business to help you grow, that took me the longest time to understand, because with the trickle in here, trickle in there, and I'm trying to manage this, and I'm trying to say, I could do that. I'm not going to pay that. I'm going to do this. And it's like, it's a hot mess. But when you start really focusing on those, because now I am so thankful for my team. And I really didn't even think about it until one of my friends saw me doing all this stuff. She's like, why are you out there? How are you out there doing all of that? She said, where do you take your books with you? I said, girl, no, I just go and speak. She said, you mean you don't even take your books? No, I be forgetting about them.
Yeah.
Katrina, what the world? So all this kind of stuff. And so she said, no, I already do this for my daughter. I'm going to start helping you. She said, no, you need to be out there speaking, because she's the person behind the scenes. She said, I'll handle your table. I'll handle your books. I'll talk to the people off the side who want to hire you for speaking. You don't need to worry about that. We became road dogs. She was my first introduction into working with me. Then we're like, okay, now you need to get this person. Now you need to. And so then we started expanding. But until my friend who saw the potential in me, and sometimes it's hard to work with friends, but she saw me as a business entity growing, and a friend second to help me think strategically on what I need to do. So she was buying into everything that I was doing and wanted to help me grow. She said, I see where you're going. I want to step in. This is my strong suit. I'll handle that. You go out there and speak. I ain't going to ever be able to do what you do. You go out there and do that. I'll be back here. And that has worked perfect. Now the COVID kind of shut us down, but we are already planning our comeback. We cannot wait to get out there. But I love that you're able to really help people see that through and actually think about, okay, what do you do? What is your next? Because that's what I really hear, Katrina, when people are going through the layoffs. And Katrina, I got to ask you this question. What do you think about this great resignation? Number one, your phone should be ringing off the hook. So what is going on? I've heard it, and I'm trying to figure it. Let
me tell you why it's probably not. It's because a lot of people will come off of a layoff and again think they can do it on their own. So my phone doesn't ring until 6 months to a year after that.
When
they're like, I can't do it. Why is everybody else ahead of me? There you go. Because and think about it, when you're being laid off, where your mind is, or you're resonating from your job, where your mind is where is my money? How much am I going to spend? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. You have all of that and you're holding on to it. It's those individuals who have gone through 2 or 3 layoffs who understand, I need to make an investment. I need to do this. My phone should be ringing off the hook, right? And I live in abundance. So I'm waiting for those. Like I'm not out looking for them. They're waiting on me to go out and be like, this is what you have to do. These are things you have to put in. But I see people going back to their jobs that they didn't really want. They realize I can do a lot working at home. Or the gig economy is slowing the workforce down right now because they're like, I can make that same amount and I don't have to deal with a boss. Or it's a lot
the politics or all that kind of crap that go into it.
I don't have to deal with all of those things. Here's a story. I'm working now on a contract with a school, right? And that's like my next big thing, and I'll tell you about that. But we're trying to get an event planned for them. Their school is giving their staffing a retreat. And we can't even get a restaurant that will help us with the event for like 20 people because they don't have staff on the weekend. They don't have any staff.
Whoa, that's scary.
Yep. And so we've gone through literally 10 places and they don't have staff. So we're just like, we got to find somewhere. We got to find somewhere. You know, we have to come up with alternatives. We have to figure these things out. But you would think that people are like, I need to start a career. What do I do? How do I do that? And a lot of times they're listening to their friends. They see other people doing different things. Social media is blinding them on. I can do that. I can blow up overnight. I can do
and that's so not right. It's so not true. It's not true. It's not true.
If you pull back the curtain on that and see that Oz is not really sitting back there.
I love that. Yes.
You will
that reality check.
Oh, I've learned so much about, because if you're in corporate, if somebody tells you that they're senior, whatever, you respect that. And then when you get on a call with them and you're like, wait, what did you call yourself? Because you have to project yourself in a certain way. And then when you peel those layers back of the onion, you're like, okay, everybody's normal. They don't really they have great marketing, but we have to wait on that. So what I say to that is, yes, I am waiting for those individuals and they are waiting for me.
Yes. So let me talk outside of outside, in addition to you as a resource, what resources would you give people towards to help them make that decision to seek out professional help?
So the resources that I use are people like yourself, because a lot of them, maybe they're not ready to leave corporate and they want a career change. And I won't take anyone who has one foot still in. I won't, because you have to be 100% committed to me. I
like
tried
that.
that. That was one of my mistakes before. I tried to take a young lady who had one foot in and she was thinking about leaving. And then she started listening to me and thought it was too hard. I'm like, you're not ready. And I'm okay to let those people go. So that's one aspect of it. I also give them resources like some of the people that I've coached or over this time is I have a chef who I coached and she does really good on the business side. And so I was coached her to coach other people who are coming in that industry to do good on the business side. I have a lady who's she's an engagement leader. And what she does is work with the community, work with the high schools. And that's what she wanted to do, professional development for staffing and parents in this area, for low income area. And that's who she just contracted me to help her at this event.
See? Yes.
So that was that. And then I have another lady who's an admissions counselor, and she just does a phenomenal job. She spent her career working in higher education. So now she spends her time coaching other individuals, parents, on how to get their kids through that system and what it means. I had another guy who's a language coach. He coaches doctors in another country. He lives in another country. So I've had some out of the country clients, and he teaches them their language before, what it means, like what they're, how do you have your rhythm? What do you talk to at a networking event? He teaches these doctors before they come to the US to be doctors, like language. How does that work? How does it, work with them?
How does it translate over to here? Yeah.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter what industry you're in. I'm setting a foundation for you. I am giving you, wherever you go into, you're going to need these things. And I now take these people and use them as a resource.
Yes. So and I call it your mighty network, baby.
Yeah, I call it my resource vault. I'm going to send you to my resource vault. And you can get it. I've been in insurance for all my life. You're going to get an insurance person. You're going to get an attorney. You're going to get all of these people I was in financial advising. I have advisors who are lined up waiting to help. I have other personal trainers who know that I go through meditation. I go through yoga. I go through, get on that spin bike. I'll get my big fat butt up there with you if you have to.
Girl, me too.
Yeah. So I just use my network. My network is very strong, and I use them, and I just resource people out to them if they need to. Otherwise,
that is so powerful.
Build that foundation. Yep.
That is so powerful, because one of the things that I call her my business bestie, we were talking about that same thing, and how we always get on the phone sharing ideas back and forth. And I said, you know what? I've already developed kind of like a resource page on there. I said, I don't even think you on there. I said, but anyway, it's about to be bumped up once my developer finishes all my stuff. But I want to invite you to be on there for me, because that's a resource. So I want to invite you there. And once I get to that point, I'll be reaching out to you again to kind of build that in, because as I talk to people, I tell them it's not just about me. I am looking to help you outside of me. If I can't help you, I'm not here to take your money. I am here to really get you a result. As you can go to my LinkedIn, you see the results I've gotten, go there. But I am here to really help you get a result. Now, if I can't get you that result, probably now, or maybe we need to work together in the future, why don't you go here and talk to these individuals, because they can help you. One of the things I did before I started writing resumes for a CEO level, because I was so new, I was so scared of the CEO resume. I was like, I got. So I would give them to a lady who I knew only did that. I said, girl, I'm sending these people over to you, until I became comfortable. Say, you know what, I can actually do that, and start doing it. But I use my network. So I want to invite you to be a part of my network. I know I'm thinking you are, because I told you already my BFF in my head. Yeah, you are. So yes, you are. So I will be putting you on there to do that, because I think this is going to be awesome Because as I'm having these conversations with my clients who are just like, you know what, I really don't want to go back in corporate America. I'm going to do it because I need a job, which is understandable. I said, but if that's your real thing that you just need income, I understand that. But you really need to talk to Katrina, because I think there's opportunity for you. Now, if you need that, what I call a bridge job, do that. Because I always say your job can be your angel investor.
Yes. And I always tell people your severance is your savior.
I love it. And spend it well. And you know what? We need to talk before I let you go. Let me see. What is that? That's me sometimes with that federal. I know. Now, Stacey, I don't even do federal resumes. I have a sister that I send that over to. When I look at those things, I'm like, no. And I had no idea. I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's just a resume. They say, no, it's not.
Different.
Federal resumes, that's a beast. That's almost a whole resume writing business by itself. So I have, if you need a resource for that, Stacey, I got you, girl. Since she's awesome at it. But anyway, so I don't want to do that. But I want to talk one more thing before we start wrapping up with ask you some of my favorite questions. What do you say to people about their finances? Because what I find, people are more fearful because their finances are not in order.
Right.
What kind of advice would you give them?
So it could be a side hustle. If you need to work another job until you get to where, like what you just said, if you need something else as a bridge, take a bridge. Yeah. Don't be afraid to take. One thing you have to learn to be as an entrepreneur, and I'm screaming this, not literally, but I am screaming this.
Yes.
You have to humble yourself. You're going to have to do things that maybe you wouldn't have done before. I told you I was up on this like, what? I'm not doing that. Who you think you're talking to?
Do you know who I am?
Do you know? And they were like, yeah, we do. That's why you got to do it.
Right.
But it is, you have to be willing to humble yourself. That means take that other position, take something else and use it to get to the finance, get to where you. Nobody ever knows. And if they tell you they do, it's not true. Nobody ever knows how much it takes to start a business or run a business. All I know is that I had some savings, I had severance, and I decided at that point, I am going to use this to help launch me into something else. So I did. I spent money on doing the book. I spent money on a coach because I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going in.
All in.
Yeah. And I said, and I will, I trust and believe in who I am so much that I'm like, I can do that. I'm a high performer. Why wouldn't I do it? It's the same thing. So that's what you have to think about. When you think about finances, you're thinking about, okay, I know it's not gonna, how much is it gonna take, but how can I subsidize that in the meantime? And again, we're in a gig economy. There's stuff out there. There's money out there to be made. And you just have to look at it from that perspective. If your desire to be an entrepreneur is louder than your money situation, then that's all you'll hear is, I want to be an entrepreneur. My desire not to go back to corporate was louder than any interview that I could do. So I stuck with what was screaming at me. And that was,
I love that. And you know what? That is so powerful, because when my friends were sending me things, and again, I love my job. I don't have anything, against my job. The company I work for, I make sure that I take everything I can to build me. But I am to the point, I'm almost at retirement. It's either a severance going to come or retirement for me. Yeah. Those are one of the two things. I said, but people say, well, you know what? You do all of this. There's a lot of jobs out there that you can do with that skill set. I will look at that, Katrina. I'll be like, and I can write my own resume, right? I'm like, whew, I said, you know what? It's really, you talking about the heart palpitations? I'm like, I don't think I can do it. And I have to say no. I applied to one or two, and I got on the phone with this lady. It was a vice president role, and she couldn't even meet the top of my salary. I said, that's it. No, you asked me to stand up this operation, hire people, hire directors, all this kind of stuff, and you can't even match my salary where I'm at I'm the first line leader at the company I work for. Oh, boo, she said, that's what other people told me. The rate is too low. I said, yeah, honey, you're not gonna be able to give me so bye-bye. And I was like, I made more money than that on my side gig. So I'm like, no, but it just hurts my heart. And it's like, I just can't do it. And that's when you said that screaming. When I get that, I said, no, I'm not applying for anything else. I don't care if this is my sweet spot. I'm going to do iRock. And I'm going to finish with my virtual, I'm not virtual, my angel investor. And that's all I'm going to do. So I had to become very focused, and I'm all in there for iRock. And I do right by my employer to make sure that I honor them as they continue to invest in my career. And that's one of the shows I had before, how I balance both. And you have to come to that conclusion for yourself to figure out what you want to do. Here's something yes, I'm okay on the bridge and ready to jump with my consultant, but anxiety sets in sometimes, and I start asking myself, do I really know that?
I know.
Even when I'm doing it every day at work and have my own clients, how crazy is that? Come on. Somebody just said, okay, yeah. Stacey?
Let me tell you this. The biggest thing that I get, and I told you, is I help people with the fear of transition. So that's where you are right now. You're fearful of transitioning into that. But the other fear that comes in, Stacey, is the fear of calling yourself an expert. I want you to take a moment right now on your phone. I want you to look up the definition. I'm going to look it up and I'm going to read it to you.
Katrina, receive this, girl. Stacey, receive this. Receive this, Stacey.
The definition of expert. And when I read this, and this is what people, they look at it and be like, oh, I don't, like she just said, do I really know that? Okay, here's a definition of expert. It's really simple. A person who has a comprehensive or authoritative knowledge. You seem like you have comprehensive knowledge to me, or a skill in a particular area. That's it. There's no more to that definition. So
that's you, Stacey. And we had a little small conversation about that too, Stacey. Stacey, do you hear her? Oh no, this is what. Oh Lord, I just hollered. And I will holler with you, girl. I will holler with you.
Man, that is what it is. Like, live in that. Like, your fear is really not that you don't know how to do it. Your fear is really coming from, do I have enough money for this? Do I want to jump out? How do I do that? How are people going to perceive me? What if? I like to coach on the what if theory, right? People come to me, such as Stacey, and say, what if? What if I don't have enough fans? What if I don't have enough friends and family to support me? What if I don't have enough money? What if? But you have to understand that the universe is balanced, right? So on that side of what if you do? And what if you do become successful? What if you, like, what about that stuff? So exactly. That is what it is. It's a lot. Don't be discouraged. We see that. No. Am I going to make it? Right. So you have to take all of that out of your mind, Nairobi. And you have to say, if I don't try, I'll never know.
That's it. And that's what I was crazy and foolish enough to do, because I just kept going. Consistency. I said, all I got to do is get out there. Even with these shows, I've been doing live stream for like ever now. And I said, I used to have this thing where, okay, I'm a career practitioner. Do I have to wear a suit? Do I have, I was thinking about all these stiff types of things. And I'm like, well, I said, I don't know. And then I started doing it. And I was like, oh, God, stuff was just happening, Katrina. Whatever come out my mouth. And then people started enjoying it. I said, well, all I can do is be me. I don't know how else to be. I said, they either like it or they don't. I said, but when they see this, that's where they get. And so, and I had to go through all of those different stages. But I mean, Nairobi and Stacey, you all, make sure you connect with Katrina. And really talk with her, invest in her as a coach, invest in her book, because it will really help you move the needle on your business, on where you're trying to go. And just to let you know, Nairobi is a graduate of my resume writing course. Well, so she's now a certified iRock resume business owner, meaning that she's certified to run a resume writing business under the iRock brand. Whoop, whoop, whoop. So yes, and she is out there, doing it. And it's like, she also has an angel investor as well. Okay. And it's like, okay, now what do you do? The next step. So she will need that next step and actually doing that, because my skill set, I can teach you how to do a resume writing business because I did it. But as far as all this other stuff, no, mental stuff, no.
Yeah. That's not a lot of it has to do with your message. Most people are very clear on their message. Their confidence shoots through the roof. So connect with me on Facebook.
Please do.
I have a group on Facebook called the Corporate Breakup. Join that. You'll get some information. From there, there's a membership if you want to get even more information. And then you start to see the things that I'm doing. I hope that helped.
Yeah. Hey, Auntie. My auntie is on here. Hey, Auntie. And look at my LinkedIn user said, I want to know who this is. I rock is everything. Now I'm sitting up here blushing. Oh, thank y'all. Thank you. Okay, Katrina, I got to give you some of my last questions. Okay, so what are the 2 or 3 people who have been the most influential to you?
So Marianne Williamson, because I coached with her.
Yes.
I also, because I need to stay in a certain mind space, I also start listening to, gosh, I knew I was going to forget her name. I listen to them every day. I'll circle back with that. But I listen to it and I watch a lot of documentaries. So I just watch. Yeah, I just look and I watch things and I try to relate them to my business. I try to bring it back to me. I try to understand why things are happening the way they are. And I try to understand myself the most. So I do a lot of self-help and worthiness and what do you think and how is the universe reacting to that? So it's a lot of those things, but I could say it's Marianne Williamson. It is, wait, let me see. I got her podcast up right here.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't believe I forgot her name and I listen to this every day.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right. But I just want other people to know this so that they can listen to it as well. Her name is, Abraham Hicks. So I listen to
how do you spell that? Abraham Hicks?
Yep.
Oh, Hicks. Okay, Hicks. Good.
Yeah, good. Like her stuff just rolls through and I just keep listening to it one after another. So yeah, those are things that help me with mindset.
Oh, that's nice. Deidre said, you're right. I just don't want to do it. Yeah, Deidre, it's just, no, I get a heart attack. I'm like, no. And I had to tell people, don't send me no more jobs. I don't want that. No, I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. And then I'm going to see my plan through. I love y'all. And I know y'all want me to do this because they say you're so good at it. You need to be doing it. I am, but I can't do it for a corporate, a job. I just can't do it as a job. I just can't. Yeah. All right, let me see. So if you could step into my shoes, what would you have asked yourself that I did not get to?
Oh, that's a good one. I would have asked, let me think, because you did ask a lot and I talked a lot. So
you love it.
I would have said, how do you respond to your family when you're going through this?
Oh, that's deep. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I got to answer it now.
Yeah, you do. Because that's a reality because your family is the closest to you and you hear them in your ear and head more so than anybody else. They're the closest to you. They're in your house. They down the hall right there laughing with her friends on the phone. I'm trying to hope y'all don't hear her.
So what I would say is that I happen to have a very supportive household. It's me and my son. My son's 19. He's the one who actually taught me to be creative. Because I was always business. And he's a creative mind. And at one point, he's, when I was writing a book, I'm almost done with it. I tell him, because I didn't tell anybody I was writing a book until it was about to be published. And when I did tell him, I felt like he was so excited for me because he felt like I was entering into that artistic phase that maybe he's in. And I remember him saying, you have to think above the collar. And then that's white collar and blue collar and use your brain. So that's the creative.
That's powerful. Wow.
So I have a supportive family. You should just make yourself creative and have them understand what you're trying to do. And it's communication. Have them understand what you're trying to do, how you're trying to get there, and then show them the path. And that just helped me become supportive. Or help him become supportive in here. I'm a single mom, so.
Okay. Well, that is absolutely fantastic. You all just make it real to them. Show them your passion for it and your skill set. Sometimes I had to do a show and tell. See? Like, okay, you do pretty good. Yes, I do. So, she wants to, right. My auntie wants to know what's the name of your book.
It is Steal Your Skills from Corporate. You see it here?
Right here.
Yep. That's the name.
Steal Your Skills from Corporate. And Auntie, go to her Facebook page, The Corporate Breakup.
Yep. That's
okay. And then I think I have it here too. Let me see. I'm going to. So I was going to ask, this is how you can get in contact with Katrina as well. She's on all social media at Roddy 65. And as you can email her at Katrina@thecorporatebreakup.com. And then there's her website, thecorporatebreakup.com. And she also says she has it on Facebook as well. So make sure that you're connecting with her so she can, so you all can get that information and connect with her on all of that. Let me see. Somebody else said that. She said, interesting. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay, good. So I love that, because having a supportive family is so important, and you want to be able to take them along, especially when they see the fruits of your labor and that you're really helping people. That makes a big difference, because you know, entrepreneurship is scary. A lot of people think you're supposed to have a job and stay there for 40 years. That's not the case anymore. So we have to think outside the box and create careers for ourselves, and that could be entrepreneurship. So I like that.
Yeah. Talk to a Gen Z. If you talk to somebody in a Gen Z, they will show you how not to work a 9 to 5.
I'm not trying to do what mama did, my daddy did, my auntie did. They're not trying to do that anymore. That does not exist.
Right.
Okay. So when I say I rock, what does that mean to you?
That means you rock. You really do. I promise you, this is one of the best interviews. I have to say, Deidre too, because I can be, you can be yourself. There's no, you just talk about everything, and the fact that you had a very engaging audience. You do rock, so you can say that all the time.
I love it, Katrina. I am so excited that you agreed to join me on another episode of iRock.TV. And it's been my pleasure for my audience to get to know you. And we will get together again as you continue to elevate. And once everything gets launched out, I'll be in contact with you as well. But you bring a lot of value to my audience. And I want to make sure that people know that they have options. And that's what you bring, another side for the options. Options I give them, maybe another career, another opportunity somewhere else, either internally at the organization, because I'm always trying to get people to stay internally if they can, because they've invested so much time and just move around. But if it's not a good fit, then sometimes you just have to sometimes go outside, and that's okay. And making them feel comfortable, be able to do that as well. So I appreciate you coming on and being a part of this awesome show that I try to bring all of the information, because I don't want to be just a talking head. I love bringing people on like you who are experts in their field to help educate my young. Right. Exactly. Read it, y'all. Now, if you all are looking at this show, please make sure that especially if you're on YouTube, like and subscribe to the show there and share with others, because the more people that is shared with, the more exposure that my guests can get and you can learn. It's about learning. And that's what I try to bring to you all, to make sure that you're learning. And okay, Stacey just said she just connected with you as well. Okay. And if you all enjoyed this show as well, please go to buymeacup.com/iRock.TV. And just buy me a cup of coffee, because this helps offset the cost to put this show on, and everything is only $5 because you spend it at Starbucks anyway. Buy me a cup of coffee. Thank you all for all of my supporters who have already supported this show in that manner. So go there and subscribe. Connect with me on all of my social media at iRockResumes.com, and where my jam is on LinkedIn at Nickquolette. That long name, where is it at? Okay, my long name, Nickquolette Barrett. So connect with me there and hit the subscribe button and hit the bell so you can get notified via YouTube when I am back on with another show. Next week, I have another guest on, Natalie Ruiz, and she's going to talk all about motherhood and getting back into the workforce and her experience with her business. So I cannot wait to have my guest on for next week as well. And Katrina, if I could hug you right now, girl, I would. So I'm going to give you a virtual hug.
Got it.
Yes. Thank you all so much. Okay, Katrina, hold on for 1 second. I'm going to do my outro and we will chat real quick, okay?
Okay.